Tune in Monday at 9:30 a.m. for Safe, Sound, and Secure with Neil Flax of BAI Security Systems. Are you sleeping safe, sound, and secure? Log on to BAINow.com or tune in Mondays at 9:30.
Hi, this is Sean Pepper of the Pennsbury Falcons. Listen to our games on WBCB 1490 AM and brought to you by East Penn Automotive and the Trentonian.
Wondering what that stain is on your ceiling? How about that nuisance leak that no one can fix? If you want to know who builds your roof stronger, call Kangaroof. They guarantee your roof longer. Don't make the mistake of having two guys in a truck working on your roof. Make sure you call Bucks County's best roofing contractor. You're always 100% covered with A. Brooks Construction, Kangaroof. Call today at 215-752-6145 to have their best technician visit your home.
Base 1, clear takeoff.
Since 1995, the Global Positioning System, or GPS, developed by the U.S. military,
here we go,
has been operational for civilian use.
Please proceed to the highlight map.
Today, the men and women of the Air Force Reserve continue their vital mission, guiding safely on your way while protecting the freedoms we all enjoy. The United States Air Force Reserve, guiding and protecting America.
Why drink tap water when you don't have to? Lugging heavy gallons of water from the grocery store to your business or home can be a hassle. Now there's a solution right at your fingertips. Cold Spring Water Company has been providing door-to-door service in the Delaware Valley for over 20 years. Now you too can benefit from the service by dialing 1-800-233-9658. 1-800-233-9658. Cold Spring Water Company, making sure your water is safe and clean. 1-800-233-9658 for the Cold Spring Water Company.
Sweet home Chicago. See, Seamus, there's a lot that you don't know about my city. The first being, they respect me and my decisions. This city really gets it. They understand that a WWE champion against a world heavyweight champion is nothing less than a WrestleMania main event. They understand that CM Punk is nothing less than a main event wrestler. Listen to him. This place respects the fact that you just don't parade CM Punk out at the 8 o'clock hour and exploit the fact that he happens to be from Chicago. They respect that, and they respect all my decisions. And besides, it's Labor Day. There's a lot of people here that have probably taken the day off of work. That's why I'm sure they're all going to respect the fact that I'm doing the same thing. What?
I can't believe CM Punk is walking out. You can't believe it. I can't either.
Punk, you want to talk about disrespect? That's exactly what you're showing to all these people here in this arena by walking away. They want to see this match.
Wait, what are you doing? Hey, you can't leave, okay? You have a match.
I can't leave?
No.
Check the deal, bro. Check my contract. I got personal days. Today's one of them.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, replaying CM Punk taking the day off, at least for a little bit, although we try not to take days off here, although we're given them sometimes unintentionally on occasion, but, you know, life sometimes happens that way. Life is funny in that way. And speaking of life being a little bit funny and a little bit interesting, well, one person who can tell us a lot about that, I brought him up, of course, in the beginning of the show, or at least talked about him, and he's got an amazing story. Of course, I was about to go the Mean Gene Okerlund route and say a close personal friend of mine, even though we've only met on a couple of occasions. But no, that a budding friend, of course, to myself and the program here, and a local independent name you've probably heard as well. Cory Kastle joins us on the line. Cory, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey, Fearon. What's up, man? How's it going?
Not too bad. I mean, how are you doing? I mean, you're a week out. I was going to say I should probably set the table for those who don't know everything that's going on about you. You've been involved in wrestling in various capacities for a little over a decade now, right? Even though you're younger than I am. You're in your 20s still.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing, Fearon. You don't just parade Cory Kastle out at the 12 o'clock hour and exploit the fact that I'm from Bucks County. You know, it's Saturday, and a lot of people are taking the day off. I think
you think you're going to take the day off, too?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just heard the promo, and it made me think, since I'm from Bucks County, and your show's a Bucks County show.
Yeah, I mean, it's even closer to that. We both hail from the same town.
Yeah, that's true. It's really funny when you were telling me, like, where everything was located. I was like, well, that's where I'm from. My stomping grounds.
Yeah, your stomping grounds, as it were. Just kind of chilling out back here. We'll have to get you in studio here one of these days.
Yeah, ideal. That's an ideal situation for me.
Oh yeah, no, we'll definitely make that happen. But let's go ahead and set the table now. You're returning to the ring next Saturday in Reading, I believe it is, right?
It's at the First Energy Stadium, the same stadium that the Reading Phillies play at.
Okay.
That's where I'm going to be making my return. What happened was, a year ago, in August, I was supposed to perform at that very building on August 4th, but I had a brain bleed. So my brain was bleeding into my skull, and I had a huge grand mal seizure, and I had to be rushed to the hospital, and they helicoptered me to University of Pennsylvania, and then they scheduled what was called a craniotomy. So at the end of August, I had to have this thing called a craniotomy, which basically means they had to from ear to ear across the top of my head, they had to cut my head open. They had to peel my face down. They had to go into my brain, and I basically they found what was called an AVM, as an arterial venous malformation. If you want to Google it, there's the most heinous.
I was going to say, I did a little bit of research before, and that basically means that, like, your arteries and veins, in this case, in your brain, were, like, malformed.
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't just happen in people's brains, too. That's the misconception I had when I first heard about it. Because then I did a lot of research, because I had from the 4th to the end of the month, which was like the 29th. I was admitted on the 28th, and my surgery was I had two surgeries, the one on the 29th and the one on the 30th. And
wow,
I did a lot of I'm sorry.
I was going to say you're fading in and out a little bit, so I was going to try to fill in the gap there. So you initially had this like seizure on the 4th of August of last year, and then you didn't have the surgery to correct anything until 26 days later?
Yes.
Wow.
It was a lot of time to kind of just reflect, and I did a lot of research. Not that I was told to do a lot of research, but you're just curious when someone tells you you're going to cut your head open and do work on your brain. You just want to see what happens.
Yeah, you kind of want to know what you're in for going into it, as opposed to not.
Like I basically, like when the neurosurgeon came in and he told me what he was going to do, he was like, "Look, we're gonna do this procedure, and you can't work out and you can't wrestle." And basically, he was giving me the idea that I'm never going to be able to wrestle again. And he said, "You're never going to, you're not going to be able to work out for a while." And like my idea, hearing all this stuff was like, "Forget it, I'm not having the surgery. Like, you're not cutting my hair. I'm not going to stop working out. I'm not going to stop wrestling. Like, just forget it. Let's do it." And he's like, No. I'm doing this surgery to save your life, because if you don't have this surgery, you're going to die. So I went in for the admissions, and all that 20-some days that I had to do research, I was just hearing the worst people, and doing research on it. All you hear is what the worst case scenario was. Like, everyone was like, oh, my uncle had it, now he can't speak anymore. And this woman told me that she knew a friend of hers who had the same thing done, and mentally she's fine, but she's frozen in a very uncomfortable looking position where, like, her arms are all up by her chest and she can't move. And I'm like, so hearing all this, I'm fearing the worst, but then at the same time I'm thinking, I got to get back in the ring. I can't just let somebody hand me this sentence and deal with it. So going into the procedure, they were like, hey, when you come out of this, expect yourself to be in the hospital for 30 days. And my mom was like, that's because they're going to have to try to teach you to walk and talk again. They're going to have to teach you to read again. And as soon as she told me that, I said, that's not going to happen because I'm going to be out of here in less than a week. So I had the brain surgery on the 30th, and then I was walking and talking, and I was out of the hospital by 3 days later. I was out of the hospital.
Wow.
So what they told me I was going to be out of there in 30 days, I got out of there in 3.
1/10 the time.
Yes. So we know math on this show.
Yeah, it's one of my strong points. Now, talking, that's not necessarily my strong point. Longtime listeners of the show definitely know that.
Oh, well, you know what's cool is I actually, when I was young, I used to listen to the show like all the time. Eric, someone who became a big friend, like a good friend of mine, Eric Arjulo, when he used to host the show, before he was even my friend, he used to host like a Slack's Hoagie Shack.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have like Tommy Dreamer on, and I would go to the Slack's Hoagie Shack, and I met Tommy Dreamer there. And I'm actually on my way to a show right now that Tommy Dreamer's on. So it's kind of like full circle.
It's a full circle, yeah. You're doing the pro wrestling radio show again, and this time you're being interviewed as opposed to just checking it out live, and you're a part of the show now. Yeah. And you're getting to see Tommy Dreamer again. So yeah, some things you're right, they do come full circle. Now we just got to find Eric Arjulo, and that'll complete now.
Oh, I did. It was almost like one of the highlights of. I consider myself a lot of things besides a pro wrestler, but creatively, I got an opportunity I got to interview Eric Arjulo for almost like a documentary shoot.
Okay.
And I had all these questions to ask him, and it was really educational, and I was really glad I got the opportunity to do that. And it was an experience. I've been friends with him for a while, but it kind of made me get his side on a lot of things more than I had gotten it back in the day. Because back when I was like in CCW and he was there, like back when CCW was good, was he was the commentator and
Mm-hmm.
he ran the show at the same time. Back when I was in the company, and it was just cool because like before he knew me before I ever did anything. Like he didn't know me when I was a fan of the show, obviously, because I was just listening to it and show up when he did the tapings at Slack's Hoagie Shack. But it was pretty cool, man. I'm excited. Like now today, I'm doing commentary at the show, and then next week I get to come back and be in the ring. And
so you're heading out to Reading right now to do commentary.
I'm doing commentary for a different show. It's in the Reading area.
Oh, okay.
It's not in Reading, and it's Lewistown. Yeah, it's in Lewistown, PA. And Tommy Dreamer and Sandman are both on the card. But that's going to be fun. Just commentating. I love I feel I'm like right in your realm where you're comfortable with speaking and having a show, and I host a podcast on occasions. We've kind of taken a break for the past month, but we're going to get back to it like next week. It's about comedy. We used to talk about wrestling a lot, but we realized that our audience is more into like fart jokes and throat and vomit humor. They didn't really want to. They didn't want to hear about wrestling.
Oh, okay, so it's the Vince Russo style of humor. Got it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it's called pod trash, so that pretty much gives it away right there. It's just trash.
Well, there you go. If you need your wrestling talk fixed, you're always more than welcome to come on in here. You know that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm strongly still a viewer of all the television products right now. I watch anything that's on TV, except for Ring of Honor. I don't watch it because I don't get the channel that it's on.
That makes sense, absolutely.
But I watch TNA. I'm pretty faithful TNA watcher. I DVR Raw every week and SmackDown. I haven't seen Saturday Slam yet. Was that today?
Yeah, it's every Saturday morning at 10. I want to say on the CW network. I'm usually just, I'm in between a little bit of a break here at WBCB, so I don't get the chance to run home to catch Saturday morning Slam. But it's obviously geared more toward kids anyway. It's like part of the Saturday morning cartoon lineup. Only it's actual wrestling.
I'm just a big kid in my 20s, so.
Oh, I hear you. In some ways, I'm 31 going on about 9, so believe me, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I definitely want to. Maybe I was thinking like next week if I don't leave too early for the WPW show. It's by the way, the company's called WPW.
Yeah. I was gonna say let's get some of the promotions out of the way.
It's worldprofessionalwrestling.com. You can go there and get your tickets. I know 2 of my very best friends are going to be wrestling each other in both of their last match in the company. Both former tag team partners of mine, Matt Bomboy and Rick Feinberg. It's being billed as an end of an era match. And my thing, like my phrase that I've used time and time again to talk about that evening is like they're billing the show as end of an era. What better time to start a new one by coming back in the ring, than there being one ending. Let me start a new one.
That makes perfect sense. So, yes, Cory Kastle, this coming Saturday, the 15th, that's WPW, and that's going to be at the over in Reading. I forget the name of the stadium where the Phillies...
First Energy Stadium.
That's right, First Energy Stadium out in Reading there. It should be a great time. And you said worldprofessionalwrestling.com, that's where you can go to get tickets?
Yes.
Great stuff. Well, I know, you'll want to rest up a little bit, save the voice. Don't want to use it all here on the radio program since you're going to be doing commentary tonight. But I was going to say, hit me up over the week. I mean, if you're, as you said, if you're not leaving too early, love to have you in studio right after the show. I'll be rushing over to George's Cards and Collectibles down the road. D'Lo Brown's going to be hanging out over there.
Oh, you're looking at the real deal now.
Yes.
Every time I think of D'Lo Brown, I start singing that song.
Oh, I know. All I can think of is
my head back and forth.
Yeah, wiggling the head back. That neck, that it seems like it's on a loose swivel. Like, I mean, he was the originator of bobbleheads before bobbleheads happened, because that's just how he swings his neck.
Exactly. He was a human bobblehead wearing his chest guard.
Yeah, the chest guard. One of the Eurocontinental champions. Yeah, there's a lot of history with D'Lo, and we'll get to hopefully talk about a lot of it. At least a little bit of it. While I get the chance to meet him over at George's Cards and Collectibles next Saturday. That's from 1 to 3, right after the show.
That'll be a fun time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but either way, we'll have you here in some capacity, Cory. It'll definitely be interesting to get your take. I mean, today it's about you, as it obviously should be, and next week it will be as well when you're back in the ring. But I mean, kind of curious to hear some of your thoughts and analysis on the TV product. But I was gonna say we'll get into that for another time because we're unfortunately up against it. But I want to thank you for joining us. Good luck with the commentary, and I'll definitely be catching up with you over the course of the week. And if you're able to, we'll maybe get you in here in studio next week. But if not, then definitely sometime in the near future.
Well, thanks for having me. If I can do some cheap, stupid plugs.
That's all this show is about, is cheap, stupid plugs. Except for the ones that are paid for by our wonderful sponsors, of course. But I mean, the free ones are, of course, that's why they're cheap, stupid plugs.
Yeah, they're cheap because I don't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
If you go on Twitter, Cory Kastle, CoryKastle, you can find me. Or you can send me a message on Facebook, and I'll respond. It'll be fun. We can chat. I'm not unreachable. And And I'm a Bucks County native. I'm right from around here. So
you're grounded. You're loyal and local.
We're in the car now heading out to like this Lewistown show, and I was like, oh, let's see if we can listen to the show, but we're too far away. And I got like Latin jazz. And I was like, I hope I'm not calling it to a Latin jazz.
No. No, but I was going to say, given that you're in the car, it's a little difficult, and especially being on the phone, but with the smartphone, you can listen in anywhere in the world at WBCB1490.com. We broadcast on, you can listen in on your iPhone or Android. You just follow the directions on the webpage.
Well, perhaps I will do that for the rest of the car ride.
And and we've got archives of the show up on YouTube. Just search WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly, so you can listen to me make a fool of myself on a weekly basis. And the archives go back at least pretty close to a year now, I think, is when I started putting that up on YouTube.
Well, you could also see me make a fool of myself on YouTube pretty frequently.
Just type in Cory Kastle.
Just type in Cory Kastle and see what you get. You'll probably watch me do fart humor and things of that nature.
Yeah, definitely a great way to close out the show. Absolutely.
Talking about fart humor.
Yeah, I know. It's Vince Russo in '99 and 2000 all over again.
Lowbrow comedy.
Lowbrow comedy. That's how we do here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, or at least something like that. All right, Cory, thanks so much for joining us. I'm up against a break. I've got Wild Bill Melody here. He'll. I don't want to say what he'll do to me if I don't get these commercials out of the way. All right. Thanks, Cory. I'll catch up with you soon.
See you guys.
Thank you. Cory Kastle, ladies and gentlemen. An amazing story. Looking forward to him back in the ring after a craniotomy. I mean, that just sounds scary. I mean, and I mean the vivid description. I mean, oof. I think after that, I do need to definitely take a little bit of a break. So we're going to do that. We'll get to Ron and Ed on the other side. A little bit more news and notes. I still got my No Surrender predictions certain to go wrong. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.